Welcome to this first journal entry of the second year's first semester. During this first half of the semester, we study the topics of critical thinking, language and power, and we read the book Fahrenheit 451 from Ray Bradbury. The topic of critical thinking was very hard for me to approach because I always considered myself a critical thinker, but when we started to study this unit, I came to the conclusion that I'm not feeling the whole requirements to become a critical thinker. Critical thinking is a process when you rediscover things that you don't know or try to explore new barriers, new boundaries of what you already know. And to study this topic, at least for me, I try to make diagrams with the different authors' positions and diagrams explaining its process. Some of them consider that critical thinking is led by curiosity. For example, John Dewey proposed that. And some others consider that it's a rational process with different approaches trying to get an outcome, in the case of Jenny Moon. In the topic of language and power, we studied how the relationship between language and how its power can modify a whole speech. I consider this unit very easy to me to study because I always get the sensation that the discourse we are accustomed to see, such as the news, the TV shows, the radio stations, the internet, they propose different ways or different explanations to a situation. We have to be critical thinkers enough to verify which is true for us. Language and power, we studied it thanks to the resources the media elite applied to modify speech, such as the euphemisms, the metaphors, the similes, and we studied the relationship of discourse with the social environment and the individual environment. We studied how mass media present different discourses on its different resources. And to put an example, I'm going to explain Noam Chomsky's video, which is this linguistic, which is very famous. And his video talk about the press freedom and the 5 filters of media, such as the media ownership, the advertising money, the media elite, the flag, and the common enemy. I tried to study this topic using audio tapes, which are on my cell phone, that explain all this process of language and power, this content, and trying to apply it to different mass media such as the TV news. For example, Televisión Noticias, Mega Noticias, Tele 13, to put some examples, and how they present different discourse according to its interests. The Ray Bradbury's novel, Fahrenheit 451, we studied it through the concept of critical thinking in terms of the characters who are critical thinkers, the topic of the book burning in the relationship between critical thinking, how society put us barriers to explore new things because they consider it incorrect. Another thing we studied with the book was the dystopian universe, which is this universe which is chaotic, and we have a protagonist who wants to rebel against this system because the character considers it unfair. In another topics, we studied grammar, pronunciation, phonetics, the tenses. My main weaknesses were the punctualization and the tenses, at least in the task, because I forgot to punctuate phrases, and I confused the tenses with past and present. And my strong points were the fact that I participate a lot in classes. I always try to volunteer in the main activities as much as I can, and the fact that I always try to read the content, and when I don't understand something, I always try to ask questions.